All right, all right, all right.
So I started doing intermittent fasting again.
Oh,
Started Monday. Today's Wednesday. Can you guess how many pounds I've lost?
3.
Actually, I think it was like 2.5. In 3, 2, 1. It's the Shant and Ari podcast, you guys. Episode number 64. Shant, how you feeling tonight, big guy?
Good man, good. I know I sent it to you the other day. I did my 2021 goals and my vision for 2021, and on there you missed the part. I think at the bottom was get a consistent intro on the podcast. Did you not see that part?
My eyes refuse to look at that section. That was an impressive list you had going. I think that we should discuss that for both of us in the next
Okay.
coming weeks before the year end. That was a fire list of accomplishments you're hoping to achieve next year. That was so authentic. What happened? Were you in the shitter and you were just like, what do I need to get done next year?
Like a to-do list for the year.
Yeah, what the fuck happened? What were you?
Well, actually, it happened. So for all you guys know me, for the past 9-10 months, I was working for a company in real estate, but for a company for new construction and stuff. And so I got laid off, which I told you the other day.
I keep on forgetting. I know it's terrible, but it makes me laugh every time I hear it.
And the owner's Armenian, man. That stings a little more too.
Goes to show you that nobody gives a fuck anymore.
It's like a Fortune 500 company. The CEO doesn't even know who I am.
Buddy, this company hasn't been Armenian in 30 years.
Yeah. So yeah, I got laid off and I was like, okay, and we're going to talk about, today's going to be a good episode and we're going to get to our topic in a little bit, but we're going to talk about like getting laid off during the holidays, literally, right? Fucking great timing.
Insane.
COVID, holidays, election year, and what I'm going to do, what I'm doing, kind of. But the first thing I did was like, okay, sit back, let me plan. What do I want to accomplish for 2021?
This was this getting laid off inspired you to get very organized in your wanting what you want to accomplish, sort of how you want to plan yourself out. That got you in that sort of mindset of like, what do I got to do? What do I want to do, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I do it every year. The past few years, not every year, like for my whole life. Like I've done it for the past 3, 4, 5 years. Actually longer. Since me and Betty have been together, we've always kind of written our goals together.
Do you guys pick out a day, like December 3rd?
Just like, oh shit, we got to do our goals.
That's right.
But this year I just haven't done it. And then I was just like, and then I got laid off. I was like, okay, let's fucking go.
Let's do it. We got some time now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What first and foremost, what the fuck have you been doing? Just changing Leo's diapers past few days?
Fucking cutting the grass, picked up Lucy's shit.
That is fantastic.
No, I'll tell you exactly what I've been doing. We'll get into that. I'll give you like exactly the step-by-step chain of events that went down.
That's great. Yeah.
Still haven't told my parents.
What? Yeah, because they might take it to.
Yeah, they're gonna feel bad. They're gonna be like, "Oh my god," like I'm just like, I don't want them to like suffer. Good thing they don't listen to the podcast. So.
Yeah.
So before we do, I wanted to touch on this this article that I heard about, and it's going to hit home to you, obviously. And I don't know if you want to talk about it or you want me to discuss it.
Well, if you want to briefly mention, I want to I think if it's what I think it is, I got a decent amount to say about it.
Yeah, so I'm pulling up the uh, so this restaurant owner in California, okay? So in California, they well a lot of like a lot of places they were, they're doing shutdowns. You can't eat inside, you can't eat indoors. Okay, that's fair. But they're allowing outdoor dining. Do they allow outdoor dining in Boston?
They do, but they stopped it December 1st.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they said you guys this was independent of any other thing where like okay, if you don't have a license for outdoor dining, your permit expires December 1st.
Was there is it COVID related or is it
No,
just
it's
cold
just
issue?
they were basically shutting down streets to accommodate outdoor dining. Like all of streets were being blocked off to accommodate that whole outdoor dining thing. Like places that don't even have
Yeah.
outdoor dining had outdoor dining because their streets blocked.
But it's like in Boston now, it's like it's too late now to outdoor dine now. Like it's fucking cold.
Yeah, bro, it's fucking freezing.
And it's gonna snow. Like you can't like
But
it's
people were doing it. These sick fucks
like
were
tents.
tents, space heaters. I saw a couple in their jackets, like right before the December 1st deadline. They were literally outside in their jackets eating. I'm like, are you guys fucking high? Just take it home. What's wrong with you?
Not that serious. Like
Yeah, just order takeout, right? But what's and I want to talk about this because it's kind of serious. It's a lot of places are now, you know how they were making like outdoor dining and like they're buying places that like didn't have it before. Maybe they were buying chairs, space
yeah.
heater, fences, decorations, stuff like that. There's places that invested in electric curtains,
Wow.
blinds, so that immediately at like 9:30 the curtains come down and like the doors lock.
Yeah.
So like I'm not going to say which restaurant we went to, but just a couple weeks ago,
Oh, I'm in Boston.
places place was supposed to shut down at 9:30. We were in there till 10:45 having our dinner. Like no problem.
Fucking great.
Keep ordering drinks, things like that. So the amount of businesses abiding by the rules is like commendable, but the ones that are really getting fucked, I don't think are abiding by any
No,
rules. And
and
I
they're
think
getting
that's what you were.
creative.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they're getting creative. Fucking love it. So this restaurant owner, they shut down indoor dining for a while, and she's been struggling, right? And she posted a video. I don't know if it was on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, but it's got like 9, 10 million views, and she's talking about how shitting on the mayor of L.A., Carcetti, right, jackass, and just shitting on him that like you know why did you shut down outdoor dining, especially in California? It's nice out there. Like you could
it's
eat
absurd.
outside.
Why would you do that?
So, and she's like, I just spent $80,000 remodeling my deck to make it, like a place where people could come sit outside. So she spent all this money, $80,000 to fucking have people sit outside. And then
That's
this
more
guy
than some
shut.
people's whole budget to like open up a restaurant. This is just her outdoor. What?
So you could tell what kind of operation she runs probably. So she did that, and she's on this video talking. She's like crying, like the emotions in the video, man. Like if you don't feel bad or sorry or feel like some type of like, wow, like people are really dealing with this. I know COVID is a real virus. People are dying, and it's real. That's obviously real too. But like people's livelihoods are being taken away. So this lady's just spilling out her guts and just talking about it. And she's like, and look at this. Why is this okay? She's like 50 yards away from me on my street. They are shooting a movie, like a spit in her face. Like that's okay. They've got permits.
They've got but like okay, she has a permit to have a restaurant. Like
Yeah,
what
but
the
now they've shut
fuck?
that down. So it's like, and she was just going off. I spent all this money. And then now she's been like blown up. She's been on Fox. She's been on like all these news channels, getting hit up, and they have a GoFundMe for her. I think they raised like 160, $170,000, which it's she's good. She got her money back, but and
But
then
she had to count on her doing that.
yeah, but
No
think about
help
all
from
the
the government.
think about all the businesses that did not um, have a video go viral and are spent 80,000 and are struggling right now. The mayor of LA responded, like I guess someone asked him the question, and he's like, "Oh, my heart goes out to her." That's it.
I just think that it's getting a little bit out of hand. Like put it this way, what difference does it make if a restaurant closes at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock? What difference does it make? Their busiest times are at lunch and at dinner time.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What the fuck is the point? Because like Boston restaurants shut down at 9:30, right? And they're at 40% capacity. So if you have a license for 50 seats, math is terrible right now. 22 people can sit down.
So they are allowing indoor dining.
Right, but only until 9:30 at nighttime at 40% capacity, properly spaced. I was
So
at sushi the other day. We were not properly spaced. I could literally like grab something off the other guy's table.
yeah, they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I love
I'm not
those
6 feet tall.
I love those Asian restaurants. They don't give a shit about anything. Talk to people because there's a lot of people who probably don't understand, who maybe don't own businesses. Talk to me, like, let's say if you're a traditional restaurant, you're a takeout, so it's a little different. If you're allowed to operate on only 40%, what does that mean to you? How does that affect you? How does that affect the business?
Traditional restaurant. So, bro, it's insane because no matter how good your restaurant is, there's a difference between going there, sitting down, ordering, like the whole ambiance of the place, getting a fresh meal brought out from the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Getting takeout from one of these places it's not the same. Like one of my favorite places in Boston, they have like a really, really good octopus dish.
You can't take that home.
What? When have you ever gotten any sort of what? You're gonna drive half an hour with a fucking octopus in your. So like the whole thing is like when people say like, oh, like sit down restaurants, they can resort to takeout. Like, bro, it ain't the same, man. So for me, if I was a traditional restaurant business right now and I had to like rely on like you got to do what you got to do type of thing, you got to now create a takeout, man. I automatically am being put in the position where, listen, I got to let go of everybody that I have because clearly I'm going to be doing, very limited business.
Mhm.
Number one. I'm probably going to be, as an owner, probably going to be taking on a lot of the responsibilities on my own. And if you're, if you're an absentee owner or one of those owners that think they can get away with just hiring people and getting things done, that's probably the reason why you're probably going to go bankrupt. So a lot of these guys that have restaurants that are fully involved in the day-to-day of their restaurants, they're out there literally serving customers, the waiter. That's how I would be operating my business, is taking on the many roles that employees take on. And on top of this, sort of what my dad was able to sort of come up with during this whole thing. We have now a service that does deliveries for us on demand. So we could page basically a driver to come and pick up a delivery, take it for us on a per need, as needed basis. So a lot of these guys are now doing the same. Like they can't afford to hire an hourly delivery driver, but they can afford to, pay $8, $10, split the cost with the customer, send out a delivery as needed. So you're doing basically a lot more work as an owner.
For a lot less
You're
money.
for a lot less money, if any money at the end of the day, and you're using all these new services that are out there, like, DoorDash and on-demand delivery services like the one I just mentioned. So basically, you're basically scraping, you're salvaging any attempt at getting any money, and you're doing it directly to the customer. You're nothing fancy. You don't have a hostess. You probably have one chef that's taking on the brunt of the work in the back. You're you have a bullshit delivery system
Yeah.
that you're relying on others to handle your deliveries. It's just a very, very just pieced together system for these full service restaurants, unfortunately.
It's sad, man, and it's sad for that business owner. Like, I mean, it's good that she went viral and she got some money back, but I mean, at some point, dude, like think about if you guys were just a catering business right now, you'd be done.
We would be moving out of our location 100%. That
Yeah,
the whole concept of a catering business to me right now is cute after this pandemic. It's
yeah,
cute. Having a catering company it's cute. But it's not pandemic proof. It's not even recession proof. Forget pandemic proof.
yeah,
Think about it from the perspective of a catering business owner right now. I think the very first person that immediately got zeroed out, like canceled, was the person that owned a catering company.
yeah. It sucks, and there's nothing on them. It's just all businesses shut down, everything shut down.
Yeah,
Can't,
you don't have an opportunity to cater anything. Everybody's in their flip flops or sandals at home.
yeah,
What are you going to cater? I don't understand. So, yeah, you're 100% right. But the backup plan. So, I guess you don't need to get laid off in some circumstances to need to get fucked as if you were getting laid off. It's always
mhm,
good to have this sort of backup plan. Believe it or not, right now I don't actually have an immediate backup plan for my store. I have one personally though.
okay. So, do you think? And I was going to ask you this. Do you think having a backup plan? Because there's two schools of thought. Backup plan is good. You never know what happens. Fucking pandemic. Recession. You got to have an out. Uh, but there's the other school of thought where don't have a backup plan, go all in. Because when you have a backup plan, you're always kind of thinking of it, and like you don't go as hard because you have something to fall back on, a fallback plan.
Right.
Do you feel like you should have a fallback plan, or you?
Yeah. 100%. I think I'm well prepared for a fallback plan, and I'm not even talking about selling drugs. Um
I had a fallback plan.
so let's talk a little bit about you. Shant, could you tell us a little bit about what was going through your mind on the car ride home? Just so you have a sense, I've been there before. I've been there twice actually
Nice.
before. But one of the times was on a much higher paying job, and it was during a time where I had my license suspended as well. So I got picked up by my mom from work that day.
Were you like in a suit, like
Yeah.
uh, you're waiting outside, like
I made her take me to go get ice cream that night after I got laid off. Because if we're getting laid off and I don't have a license anymore, might as well just go all in and make it that much more embarrassing.
wait, I want to know real quick. We're gonna get into my story, but paint me this picture. Were you like dressed up nice in a suit or something? Like not the suit.
Untied tie.
Okay, nice, dressed up, sharp. You get laid off. Is it cold out or is it like warm,
Freezing. It was in
freezing
February.
out? So you
I didn't
you
bring
have
my
to go.
jacket that day.
You didn't bring your jacket, and it's not like like you see it coming, so you call your mom, hey, meet me outside in like 15 minutes. You get late, you got laid off, and then like you're just standing out there like an asshole.
They invited me to stay inside. But I'm like, no, no, no. I'm expecting her any minute. So I had to stand outside like a dickhead for half an hour. Don't ask me why I wanted ice cream. I was in this binge of getting McFlurries from
Oh, I thought,
McDonald's lately.
of course. course.
So, man, it was a really just strange night that night.
And I can imagine your mom too, because like, I love your mom. She's probably like trying to dig, ask questions, what's going on. And you just probably just want to like just be quiet, just like be in your hole.
See, see, I made the call and it was at, what was it? It was probably like 6 o'clock at nighttime.
Yeah.
And I made the call home and I called my mom and she didn't pick up her cell phone. So I had to call the house phone and my dad picks up. And I'm like, hey, Bob. He goes, hey. And I'm like, where's mom? He goes, she's upstairs watching TV. What's going on? And I go, I need a ride home. She goes, you get out at 9. Why? I'm like, he goes, oh, okay. So he knew by the tone of my voice that like, you don't
Did you
even
see
need to
it
tell
coming?
me.
Did you see it coming? Like, and you kind of like,
You know what I did? And I refused to believe it. I asked them for business cards. I asked them for a
oh yeah,
reorder
yeah, yeah, yeah.
business cards, and they're like, yeah, we'll submit. This is my general manager. Yeah, we'll submit the order today or tomorrow. But normally it would just be like, all right, just I've done it twice already. You just press the button and I get an email. Why haven't you done it yet?
Yeah, yeah.
So I
So
asked again 2 weeks after that, and they're like, oh, yeah. And 2 days later, I get laid off. So the whole business card thing fucked me. But I
okay,
didn't have a backup plan
yeah.
that day.
So okay, I want to talk to you about yours, what you did after. So okay, so the day before, I get a calendar invite from both my managers to meet them at the office, corporate office. I was like, it's fucking weird. Like, okay. Thinking holidays, maybe, end of the year, performance review, fucking. So I've been talking to them about kind of like my pay structure. So there's been a lot of delays at our company for like construction and stuff. And I've been trying to negotiate my pay structure. Long story short. So I was like, all right, maybe they're going to talk about that. Call my partner, my sales partner that I work with. I was off it was Tuesday, so I was off. I called him. I'm like, hey, because he's been in the business for like 20 years. He knows. I was like, hey, man, like, just got this invite, what's going on? He's like, I don't think it's a big deal. He's like, text the manager, ask her, like, hey, what's up for tomorrow? And I was like, all right, cool, because like, he's like, if they're going to like let you go, he's like, they got to be political and like, they got to kind of just say, hey, like, don't worry about it, or we'll see you tomorrow. Bring your stuff. Right. Because I have a lot of like important stuff from the company. And so he's like, so I messaged my manager and she's like, oh no, just wanted to give you an update and kind of next steps. I was like, oh, okay. So I was calm. And so I was going to meet her the next day. So it's the next day I'm at my sales office with my partner. And he's like, yeah, he's like, the more I think about it, he's like, that's kind of weird he's like, I thought about it all last night. He's like, I don't know if it's a good sign. I'm like, the fuck, bro? He's like, you should be fine. He's like, it's probably about your pay structure and they probably have bad news and they probably not going to let you do what you wanted to do. And I was like, okay. He's like, as long as HR, as long as you don't see HR there, you're fine. Right. He's like, if they're going to write you up, but I was like, I haven't done anything. He's like, they're going to fire you. They're going to have HR there. So I'm like, cool. Go to the office. I'm thinking I'm fine. I roll up. I see my manager. She kind of like just walks into the office we're supposed to meet. Like doesn't say like, hey, because she's usually very friendly, very nice. And she's like, just walks in. And then my other manager was on Zoom because not everyone's working from, the office. So she's there. She sits down. And then HR walks in. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, are you lost, man? Like, we have a
Who are
meeting
you?
here.
Yeah.
We have a meeting here. Sorry, we're booked up. And then they're both not looking at me. I'm like fuck. Cause like they're just probably just scared. Not scared, but like it's not a fun
Embarrassed.
conversation.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not a fun conversation. They're not looking at me. And they're like, all right, we don't know how to start this. They give me the spiel. And then they're like, we have to let you go because of all this stuff going on with the company. And, it's not about me. It's not, I didn't get fired. I got laid off. And I'm just like, okay, like, interesting.
Interesting. All right. I guess I have some questions, but doesn't really
I didn't
fucking
even,
matter.
I was kind of shocked. I was like, it hit me by surprise. So I was just like, okay, like I have stuff at the office. They're like, yeah, you could go get it, pick it up. You can leave your keys there and everything. They're like, we trust you. That's fine. I was like, okay. They're like, we have a severance package here for you. They're like, you could sign it, you could not sign it. And I was like, well, I'm like, do I have a choice? Can I negotiate it? And, just have to throw it out there. And they're like, no, this is it. And I was like, okay, I'll sign it. And I was like, all right. And they're like, yeah, let us know if, the HR lady went through some stuff. And I was like, all right, I guess I got to go. Like, that's,
I go to Starbucks now.
I'm going to go fuck myself real quick. I'm going to go. So I left. I went to the sales office, got my stuff. Just weird feeling, right?
Oh man, I
But
love that so much.
I called my wife. I called Betty, and I was like, hey, I just got laid off. She's like, oh no, why? Why were they late? I'm like, I don't know why. I don't give a shit. I didn't even.
Go get some ice cream.
It's like in and out. um, uh, and she was just worried about like health insurance. Like she's like, all right, she canceled hers. I got mine. So we figured that part out. So driving home, I'm like, what the fuck do I do? I'm thinking Christmas coming up, the holidays. I got a baby at home. Betty just bought a flip, need money,
Nice right now. Yeah.
Not like I have to put money into it.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay. Um, got home and Betty's like, what are you gonna do? She's like, how you feeling? Tell me, like, what's, I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, I'm thinking of my next move, like the 5 moves, your next 5 moves started coming up. And I was like, okay. So I reached out to right away. I got home. I just like, it was kind of late. I was like, I'm done for today. Thinking of stuff. I wake up the next day. I'm on the phones. I hit up my sales partner. He's been in the industry for 20 years. He knows so many people. I'm like, dude, find me another spot. Hit up your connects. Like this is the thing about like having good connection with people. You could be real with them. I'm like, dude, you got to hook me up. Find me a new position. Find people. Put me in front of some people. Right. Boom. I call my old manager who got laid off during COVID. She's at a new place. Hit her up. Hey, I just left. I'm no longer with the company. I'm ready to get into it. Like she's like, oh, she loved me. So she's like, okay. She started hitting me. I hit up my other old sales partner. Like just started hitting people up. Just prospecting, networking. Right. Trying to find a new spot. Dead end. I'm looking online for new positions. Nothing's available. And my partner's like, yeah, it's the holidays. They don't really hire. And you got laid off for COVID. Everyone else is dealing with the same thing. So I was like, okay, my backup plan that I always had, which I kept going, was my real estate business on the side. So I've been literally for the past 2 months, 3 months, I still talk to my old clients, like I
Entertaining
still
them.
talk to them. And because, they're like, oh, I'm thinking about selling. I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? I'm thinking about remodeling. And I just talk to them. So the next day, that whole new homes, the trying to look for a new job, whatever, wasn't working out. Not that I'm going to stop, but I was like, okay, now plan B. I'm started hitting up all of my old clients that hit me up, asking they were thinking about selling. Boom, boom. So I'm hitting everyone up. Hey, are you still interested? I looked up your numbers. You can net this much. Like I did all the homework on everyone. Boom, boom, boom. Hit up my old real estate brokerage. Hey, I'm coming back. I'm gonna hit the office tomorrow. So I was in the office the next. Just move forward, bro.
I'm hitting the office tomorrow. Did you actually go to the office?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is. I
Um,
saw Gabe's story
yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah. So like I just fell back to my backup plan that I always kind of kept. Betty was helping the girls were kind of like running that. So now it's like back into that until, and then I hit up my old mentor in real estate and my coaches, and I was like, hey, what do you think? And this is the thing, like you always want to have like a conciliary group, right? Like people, the mastermind group of people who look over you, right? So you don't do anything rash, you don't do anything dumb. Like you and a few people who own businesses who kind of know what's up, hit them up. What do you think my next move is? Like, what should I look for? What should I be doing? And so I've just been getting all that info, but right now I'm just back to selling real estate um, in the short term as my backup plan until I figure it out.
I think that anybody that's involved in the real estate industry is absolutely crazy if they're not also getting involved in like flips and stuff like that, because that's like an easy passive revenue stream. Sometimes obviously active. I can't say it's completely passive, but
Yeah.
um, or having rental properties, definitely a solid active backup plan so that in case anything does happen, at least you've got like other income. I didn't have a backup plan when I left that day. By the way, phenomenal how you handled that. Just hopped right back into it. I was eating fucking ice cream for 2 weeks. Um,
Well, Betty was like, she's like, hey, are you okay? Like, she's like she just like was like, dude, like you should be like sulking a little bit more. Like you should be a little.
no,
Uh, um, she's like, are you? Like, why'd they do that? Are you mad at them? I was like, no, like fucking
leave me
thank you.
alone.
No, it's just like she's like, you could talk to me if there's anything wrong. I was like, no, no, I'm good. I've always been like that, dude, where I'm just like, what's like, okay, this happened, what's next? So like, for instance, and this will make people kind of understand how I process things. So the time I found out Betty had a brain tumor, right? Um, I we're sitting down, she gets the phone call, she's crying, like she has a brain tumor. She could be cancer. She could die, right? All these things. She's sitting there crying. And I'm just like, fuck, that's like terrible. Like to my wife. I'm like, okay, what's the plan? Let's see, like Google this shit. Fucking, I'm like, what's the next step? What did the doctor say? What can we do? What's the thing? And she's just like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Cares right
Like,
now.
let me be fucking sad for a minute. And that's just
You're
how
always
I
trying to find a solution to the problem.
yeah, I just want to look for the solution. I want to look just fucking like I don't want to sit around and um yeah, that's just kind of how my mind works.
Yeah, you want to take control over whatever.
I
I
don't know if
think
I'm
I'm very, very.
suppressing it. I could be suppressing it. Betty's like, oh, if you're not suppressing it, you're gonna fucking flip on me one day because you're just keeping it all inside.
It's. I mean, it's a good thing to be suppressing for. Definitely don't do that shit with other stuff, but definitely solid, Shant. How you handled that was. It's
I'm
like
still in it. Like it's not over, right? Like I haven't.
right.
It's in a couple of days.
Very, very optimistic. Very forward-looking way to look at it. I guess. I guess your optimism is suppressing things until you actually come up with a solution. The only way that I could see this whole positive thinking backfire on you is if you don't actually find anything.
Yeah, like it just
Yeah,
yeah, it's like it could be a delayed like you had your 2 weeks of like ice cream and stuff. Like mine could be in like a month where it's just like New Year's Day, I'm just fucking pissed and just drinking and eating.
you haven't drank in months, but
Yeah, yeah.
so no, you definitely hopped right back into it very, very quickly, and that's very. It's a good thing to be ready for that. Some people would have just came home and just like me, 2 weeks on my ass, no license. What the fuck am I gonna do? I have
But
to collect unemployment.
that was a different you though. What about right now? What do you think you would do?
So right now, if I didn't have any sort of territorial constraints or geographical constraints, I should say, if I got quote unquote laid off and we had to shut down
Yeah, like the
the
businesses you
restaurant,
had to like Done.
right? And say, you know, BAC is just, it's not going to cut it. I would be just going ham, getting my resume ready, and knocking on every single dealership's doors, looking for both. I'd even do sales until I got, you know, what I wanted, which is sales manager position. But dude, I would be ready to go, even if it required moving,
Yeah.
no problem, or
I literally,
traveling. Huh?
I literally, because I'm looking at places. I'm like, nothing, nothing, no, no. I'm like, babe, they're hiring in Texas. Should check it out?
They got Carvana in Texas, don't they?
And she's just like, the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, let's fucking go. Like, let's move. Like, let's make a move here. And she's like, just relax. Go sell some real estate.
No. The fuck are you talking about right
But
now?
if I was single or like not married with a kid, like, yeah. Like, oh, you want me to go to fucking Idaho? All right. See you Monday. Like, I'll be there Monday.
So let's talk a little bit about backup plans.
Yeah.
Because the geographical thing, the handcuffs, if you will, the levels of handcuffs, right? So maybe you might have one handcuff, which is, you know, you built a community here of friends and whatever. Then you
Mhm.
got the other handcuff, which is either kid or wife or
Yeah.
both, right?
Family.
So
Yeah.
if you are missing one, and your wife and kid could give a shit less about community and whatever, you could technically pick up and do whatever it is out of state. But
It's the perfect time, right? Like a lot of people always want to like get up and go. That's the perfect time to just fucking
I
go.
would, I 100% would. I would pick up and go, fuck Arizona. So
Happy to have you.
the idea is, though, is to not have to do that. But what developing a strong backup plan, I think, consists of a few different things that you should be doing just anyway, but the typical person just doesn't do it. Now, the typical person also probably might not need a backup plan. So the idea is to develop a few different streams of passive, but really capitalize on the main stream that a lot of typical people set up for themselves. And I think it really boils down to either property rentals and investments.
Yeah.
Now, the 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 other aspect of this is, how do you also passively develop another business or business skill that you could tap into, and that really, I've been intrigued by this whole YouTube thing. Now, I'm in the middle of changing up my YouTube content so that it more accurately portrays me as opposed to just the car buying side of my brain. You're
Yeah.
trying to develop your content around revolving around real estate.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the real estate industry, so developing a backup plan also revolves around what industry you're in. The car business this year really pissed me off to the point where I realized, I thought to myself that this isn't a viable industry to be in long term. And my backup plan probably has an expiration date on it. So if you're thinking to yourself that you could at any moment become a car dealer, or any moment become a real estate agent again after not having done it in a while, you might be getting slapped in the face with a huge surprise. So
Real quick.
that's what this year taught me.
Yeah, because the car industry, so Carvana, they blew up during the lockdowns, the COVID, all that. While the real big dealerships, all that, they struggled. We had, and you know how I know this? Betty had shares, stocks in Carvana, and I made her sell it a while back. Now it's quadrupled in value.
Fuck.
That's how I know they've done really well during this whole time.
Should have bought
So,
shares, man.
and yeah, and they're the future of the car industry, right? Like, so like, and how does that help you as a salesperson, right? They're not selling anymore. It's all online based. You're not going to be an engineer. You're not going to be a software developer. So like for you, the car industry, And that's another thing I've always thought, like, what is there a backup industry for me when real estate goes?
That's what's so important, is developing that, is really developing and sharpening your backup plan options. So it's really just a matter of skills, human interest skills, things that don't go out of style, they don't stop trending. And that's why I think Etsy is blowing up, because so many people are showing off their skills. Like Etsy, Sako's invested in Etsy stocks, man.
Yeah. It's you're seeing the time, and I think a couple of things that will never go out of style, right? Marketing, okay, creating content, whatever it is, sales, having sales skills, like to be able to communicate with a prospect in any industry. So, like, let's say in 20 years, real estate's done, but cruise ships are the fucking like not investing, but like they're back, vacation cruise ships. Okay, I'll go work for a cruise ship company and be like, I'm gonna sell fucking vacation package. Like, I could like if that's a job, I could do it. I've sold houses, I could sell this.
Right.
Like so it's a skill that's translatable to anything, right? Another thing I think that's super important, I think, which would be a great backup plan for you is, I think having a strong network and connections, right? Because right now, let's say the restaurant goes out of business in Boston, you know a lot of people, you're very well connected, your family, whatever, and it's like you could easily, let's say restaurants are done, everything's done, car sales are done, you're going to hit people up, you're going to just start prospecting
I wouldn't
for
know where to start, but yeah, I don't
yeah,
know
but
how many people I know.
you're just going to start reaching out like, hey, I'm just got laid off, the restaurant's done. And this is for any, you don't have to be a business owner. I think it could be, you could be an engineer, and if you get laid off as an engineer, you better have connections at other places, because you're going to have to hit someone up.
You know what does so well, Shant?
Wow.
Blogging. Because people still like to read, apparently. Bloggers make a shit ton of money, man.
I
Like
know.
writing content about random bullshit. Like, if I were to start a blog, I'm not telling you that I have the expertise. If I were to start like a Middle Eastern food blog, it would generate revenue via ads and sponsors.
And then you could travel and look at other Middle Eastern places, like visit this place, that place, write about
Yeah.
the
This is in
culture.
conjunction with any other YouTube content you make. So it's just, you have to sharpen your backup plan options. But short term, I think you've got to write down a list of short term backup plan options, active backup plan options, and really develop a long term.
Emergency, like
This
worst
is
case scenario.
fallback. Yeah. So, long story short, from this whole experience and just thinking about how you reacted to it very, very well. But you're really, if it came down to it, type of backup plan, you had one already. You have active things happening. So it's not like you didn't have a backup plan. You just didn't have a backup 9 to 5, if you will.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself irresponsible for not having a backup 9 to 5 in place, or do you consider yourself, you being that optimistic Shant, by not having one and saying this is my backup plan, because going all in on your primary, by having a backup plan, you're not going all in?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I feel like I should have kind of prepped for some backup. Like the thing is, you got to start analyzing, right? You got to. I think this is where reflection comes into play, right? And that I'm going to get to your question. This is where it comes from. You need to sit back sometimes and look at the writing on the wall, and look at, are you in a great situation at your place, your business, your company? Um, am I the top guy here? am I in this position at a, let's say you're a car salesman. Is my dealer, the physical place I'm at, are they doing really well? Because if they're doing really well, probably not going to get laid off. But if they're struggling, if the market's down, you got to start like reading that stuff. And I didn't do that at this place. The market's hot, real estate market's hot, but the community I was at was very like just there was writings on the wall, and I should have been like, okay, I need to start looking at some plan Bs, start reaching out, and I didn't. My partner kind of mentioned it to me. He's like, because he's kind of been, but he's been in the industry so long, like he knows people like that. So I just was blind to it. And so, yeah, I should have, if that answers your question.
No, it does. It does. I feel like even me for the restaurant, we don't actually. I don't know. I could be lying through my teeth. It's scary to think about it, but the takeout business, I'm thinking to myself sometimes we don't actually need one, but we do. And it's very, very difficult when you're working to think to yourself, I need a backup plan. It's impossible. Right now, you couldn't get me to concentrate on developing a professional backup plan that has anything to do with what I'm doing right now. Like, what do I do? Do I resort to a food cart? Do I rent out virtual kitchen space? Like one of those virtual restaurants that people they're on the cloud, like there's no physical location that people pick up from or dine in at. They're just running deliveries with DoorDash and stuff like that. I don't know. I really fucking don't know if I were to stay in my immediate field, what I would do as a backup plan. Say like I got evicted out of my own property. I don't know. I really don't. Or would I rent kitchen space? Would I turn my space into a virtual kitchen space? Because that's also a viable option.
That's a
Fuck.
great option.
Right.
So yeah, that's it's probably something you should start looking into. Obviously, you have a lot on your plate right now, but
very, very eye-opening talk. It's just you never want to think about a backup plan until you think to yourself, why didn't I fucking have a backup plan? I think really the backup plan for any responsible person, responsible and well thought out person, is just developing as much as you can, as many multiple streams of income as you can, so that the whole 9 to 5 thing becomes like optional at some point.
And I think also what helps and what every fucking human should do, if possible, or try your hardest, is save up an emergency fund, man, because this is double emergency, laid off, COVID, like you need to have 6 months of reserves for shit like this.
Like we mentioned before, guys, GoFundMe.com/Shant loser 2020 COVID. LOSER.
Donate. It's tax deductible. I got to buy a razor to shave my head. Things are Gillette's Mach 3s are expensive.
Even Leo started to grow some mustache hair he's got to shave off.
I was thinking about going into Leo's piggy bank. Imagine just fucking rob him.
Yeah, he's sleeping. He wakes up like
shh, don't worry about it.
Love that so much. So yeah, I'll be
should I get into MLM?
MLM?
Multi-level marketing.
Oh.
Start selling you some like, hey, Adi, if you join and you sign up 3 other people, you're going to make.
I don't understand it, man. I can't. I got approached one time by a guy that was selling like, so sorry, not solar, but a company that reroute sustainable energy.
Okay.
And he goes, yeah, I want you to become a affiliate manager for my group. I'm like, what's your group? And he goes, well, you are an affiliate manager, so you'd have to go out and get 5 more people that will turn their house to. I'm like, so you want me to go out and get 5 more people, and those 5 more people get 5 more people, and those 5 more people get 5 more people, and then I become an area manager? Is that what you're saying? Like a farm? You know what I mean? Like you're making a farm. And this was at the restaurant too, and I was like, I think I'm good, man. I got a good thing going here. I think I'm good. Um, but he was a guy that I used to work with at BMW, and he was still working at BMW. So like I was just so thrown off. I was just like, so you're doing this full time too? That's awesome.
You want to talk about a skill though, seriously. Like however much I knock on multi-level marketers, and I really do, um, that skill set of trying to spit some bullshit and literally like they're aggressive and they don't give a fuck, man. And they're gonna keep pushing and they're gonna keep following up with you until you say just stop. And that skill set is gonna be good for them forever. So like they're learning something good.
They could take that and literally go anywhere, man.
Yeah. So if you ever want to do that, man, area manager, it's good on the resume.
I'm trying to remember the name of the company. It was like an energy company, sustainable energy. But it was somewhat legit, like waiting to get sued type of thing. You know what I mean? Like on the list of like federal, like FBI federal investigation list for a corporation. I don't know, but um, yeah, it was just strange. Like I was getting recruited, but I'm like, why? I have a job. I'm good.
Yeah, like I own this business. Like I'm
Right.
good.
I'm like, maybe next year if things aren't like going well. But anyway.
Real quick, funny story. So while I was getting laid off, right?
Yeah.
I had my company cell phone. So like, you know me, like, usually like when you're getting laid off, you want to pay attention. You want to like know what the fuck's going on. And like, you're kind of like in shock. I pull out my phone and I start deleting texts because I'm like, listen, they're going to look at my shit, my company phone. So I'm going back. They're talking. I'm just like, delete, 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 delete.
That came to your mind as while it was happening.
First thing that came to my mind.
What? All right. Anyway,
Nothing that like bad or anything. I just didn't want anything incriminating. Like as far as like just
I know what you mean. I
that
got
was
you.
just my first reaction, bro. Like they're gonna look at this shit and let me fucking real quick. Oh yeah, laid off. Oh, okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah. When do you want your phone back?
Yeah, can I bring it in on Monday?
You mind? I have the charger at home. I have the charger at
I'm
home.
gonna charge it for you guys and bring it back full battery. Just
Yeah. Wipe the screen down. COVID. You know what I mean?
yeah, I don't want to just give it to you right now. I'm sick. Yeah.
That's fucking great. Wow.
All
Yeah.
right. Keep you
Never
posted.
got my business cards.
If tip guys, if a company's not giving you business cards, it's time to start
See you
looking.
later. Good night, Shant.
Good night, everyone.